What's going on, Bottom Line viewers? It's Mitch here for your Survivor Series 2016 preview and predictions. Survivor Series is finally going to be here. We're going to get match number 2 in the series between Brock Lesnar and Goldberg. A match that happened, 2003, WrestleMania 20, 2004, WrestleMania 20, a match that really disappointed a lot of fans because, let's be honest, it was boring, it was lazy, and it just didn't work. But this time around, we hope it works because these two guys aren't expected to leave immediately following the match. So it should be a lot better. That is going to be the main event, Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. I'll give you my prediction for that. But we're going to start off with the WWE Cruiserweight Championship match between Brian Kendrick and Kalisto. I'm going to give you my prediction for that. But guys, Survivor Series has been kind of a letdown for, I guess, the build-up. You know, it's been okay. I guess. You know, the last week I thought was pretty good. There were some good go-home shows, especially SmackDown. I think they made you a lot more, invested into what was going to happen at the pay-per-view. You look at this card and you say, this is a heck of a card in terms of actual wrestling talent and, performances. This could be a heck of a Survivor Series overall. But just the build-up and getting you invested in the matchups overall really hasn't worked for me per se. But we do have something to look forward to, especially in the main event, and a lot of different variety of outcomes coming from this pay-per-view that could set up a ton of things going towards WrestleMania and the future, even the Royal Rumble, stuff like this that's going to really dictate what's going to happen. SmackDown, I think, has done a really good job of building up Survivor Series for the most part. Raw, I think, has kind of dropped the ball. But let's get into our Brian Kendrick and Kalisto prediction. I'm picking Brian Kendrick, the Brian Kendrick, and the reason why, you actually do know that Kalisto, if he wins, he brings the title to SmackDown. Now, a lot of people think Kalisto is actually going to win this match. My reasoning for him losing this match is Brian Kendrick, he hasn't had the title for long, first off. Second of all, in my opinion, he's the most entertaining cruiserweight on the roster. I think he's the most ready champion. I think he's the best champion at this point. And I think you need to fix your division. You need to fix your division overall. You need to get a better direction. I don't think it's about Brian Kendrick being champion. And I don't think you moving it to SmackDown is going to help. Think about it. This is why I want Brian Kendrick to win, and this is why I'm picking him. 2 hours on SmackDown. You already have 2 hours on SmackDown, 3 hours on Raw. What is the point of taking away division from Raw so that you can put more, R-Truth, Goldust matches on Raw, time filler matches on Raw, instead of having an actual cruiserweight division with more wrestlers, more talent that you can actually put storylines into and not have more filler matches. And then you look at SmackDown, which is only 2 hours, right? So you have the 2-hour show that's going to add another division to it. Just doesn't make any sense to me. And I think that's putting too much on SmackDown's plate overall. So I think, you got to just let Raw fix it. You got to have Raw fix it. And also they're adding a new show on Tuesday nights, and some people have said, well, that's more of the reason to go to SmackDown. But I just don't see Kalisto being the guy, to have that championship. Unless Kalisto wins it and moves to Raw, I don't really understand him having the championship on SmackDown and bringing the division to SmackDown. It just doesn't make sense to me in terms of a booking standpoint, so I'm going to pick Brian Kendrick because of that purpose. The Intercontinental Championship, The Miz versus Sami Zayn. I am picking The Miz. Some people think Sami Zayn is going to win this one. No reason for me to think so. The Miz is a guy that, unless something happens where Dolph Ziggler costs him the title, Sami Zayn could get an upset here, and you could start building up Sami Zayn, but what build-up has Sami Zayn previously had for us to figure that he's going to win this title? The Miz just won the title on Tuesday. He is maybe arguably the best wrestler on the roster right now in terms of actually performance week-to-week basis. In the ring, out of the ring, on the mic, character-wise. In my opinion, he is one of the best right now. And I think that this guy just continues to have this championship story with Daniel Bryan. If he does lose, let's go through the situation if he does lose. If he does lose, you potentially set up more of an in-depth story with Daniel Bryan. So I could think about how you could have him lose, But then what do you do with Dolph Ziggler and the Miz feud? What do you do with that? Do you have Sami Zayn carry the title over to SmackDown and, be on SmackDown? Maybe that would make Sami Zayn more compelling. I've also heard that Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon want Sami Zayn on SmackDown. On Raw, then you would have the U.S. Championship with Roman Reigns, the guy that WWE loves shoving down our throats, and Sami Zayn with the IC title on the same card. Does that really hurt the IC title? Does that hurt the US title? And then that also hurts SmackDown as a brand, because sure, you gave them the Cruiserweight title potentially, maybe, but I don't think they will. And then you're going to give them the IC, you're going to take away the IC title, which has been the best feud on SmackDown. One of the biggest reasons why fans are tuning into the show. It just doesn't make sense to me. So I'm keeping the title on The Miz, the guy that is more deserving at this point to hold it. Then we have the Team Raw versus Team SmackDown 10-on-10 traditional Survivor Series tag team elimination match. New Day, Enzo and Cass, Anderson and Gallows, Cesaro and Sheamus, and the Shining Stars for Raw, Slater and Rhino, Hype Bros, American Alpha, Breezango, and Usos on SmackDown Live. I have Team SmackDown winning this match. Now, Raw generally is probably overall the better talent on Raw in terms of the actual tag teams. But in terms of the build-up, the storylines, the conflicts, the moving forward, what benefits more from it? I think SmackDown overall benefits more from it. I think you have a team like American Alpha that could potentially be lining up for a big push here on SmackDown, getting a huge victory at Survivor Series. You also have a team like the Usos that could use a victory. Rhino and Slater could be legitimized by having a victory here. Even the Hype Bros, Then on Raw, the only real reason I would have them win is for Enzo and Cass's sake. But other than that, they haven't been doing anything for Enzo and Cass. You look at the New Day, who they don't need this win. Anderson and Gallows, they have been the worst booked tag team I've seen in a very long time. Cesaro and Sheamus could be interesting. You could legitimize them as a tag team, but they could also be the reason for why this tag team is, why this tag team loses because of their miscommunication and them being a new tag team. The Shining Stars just stink. I just think Raw has done a really poor job of building their tag team division to date since the draft, and I just think SmackDown is more deserving and could do more with it. So I'm choosing Team SmackDown. And then we go to the women, which I think is almost a guarantee here. I think it would be a huge upset if SmackDown were to beat Raw. I think SmackDown, get this, actually has the better roster on SmackDown for the women. They have Nikki Bella, Becky Lynch, Carmella, Naomi, and Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss, in my opinion, is the best woman on the entire roster. Comment your thoughts on that, but I think so. In the ring, out of the ring character, all that stuff. She looks great. I think that she is awesome. On Raw, you have Charlotte, Bayley, Sasha, Nia Jax, Alicia. Bayley is super over. Charlotte is pretty much the Roman Reigns of this division. Then you have Sasha, who is very over with the internet crowd. You have Alicia Fox, who is just kind of there for a veteran presence. Nia Jax, who could do a lot in this match. So I think Raw actually benefits more from this. And I think SmackDown, with the way that they've booked their division, has more of a chance to really build off of it if they lose. Because you have the potential of Carmella screwing it up for Nikki. Nikki screwing it up for Carmella. You have Natalya as the coach there, maybe potentially screwing it up for one of the women on the team. You have Alexa Bliss and Becky Lynch in their feud. So I think there's a number of different feuds on SmackDown that could cost them the match. On Raw, you have Charlotte and Sasha, who have really been the big rivalries. But I think Bayley and Charlotte will have a big match and probably be the last one standing. But I look at Nia Jax as the one who really needs the big push here. I think she gets like 2 or 3 pins here in this match and just dominates SmackDown overall. And I think Raw, the way that they've been shoving them, really pushing them hard, I think that they just desperately need Raw to win because they desperately need to show what they're doing with Raw in the women's division and put it in more of a spotlight and say, look, we had the Hell in a Cell match. We're really pushing women on Raw really hard. And I just think that Raw, they need it because of what they've been trying to live up to. They've been trying to make Charlotte and Sasha, Lita, and Trish, and they've just been trying to, really push them. So I think Raw is going to win this match. And then we go to the 5-man traditional Survivor Series men's elimination match, which is Rollins, Reigns, Strowman, Owens, and Jericho for Raw, Orton, Styles, Wyatt, Shane, Ambrose, with James Ellsworth on SmackDown. There is so many different ways you can book this match, which is probably why I am really excited for this match. The rest of them, I don't really care too much about, but when it comes to the last two, I care a lot about. I think Undertaker coming back on maybe a more full-time basis could be potentially huge and give away who's going to win this match. Maybe Raw wins because of what Taker said on SmackDown. Taker said that there would be consequences if SmackDown lost the match. And I think that means that the captain of the team, AJ Styles, would have big-time consequences of this match. You look at Shane McMahon, who entered himself in this match. I think that, there's so many different things that can happen here. Ellsworth is a wild card. He could potentially turn on Team SmackDown and go to Raw. You look at Roman Reigns, who basically never loses. Rollins, could he be screwed over by Triple H in this match? Owens and Jericho, could Jericho turn on Owens? There are so many different wild cards in this match to go over, but I'm going to go with Team Raw because there are 3 reasons why. First off, I think that the Undertaker reason is a good reason. I think Undertaker being on the show is going to be huge. I don't want to see SmackDown lose because I like the team more, but I think that's a big reason. Second of all, we need to legitimize Kevin Owens as a legit champion. People already know AJ Styles is a legit champion, but let's legitimize Kevin Owens. Third, we have the Roman Reigns factor. This guy is probably going to last till the end. I think what's going to happen here is Owens and Reigns are the last guys to survive, and they set up their feud going forward. I just think that makes too much sense for Raw, so I'm going to go with Raw in this match. And the main event, Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg. The second time we're ever going to see this, and maybe the last time we're ever going to see this. I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar. Goldberg just came back, and I think that he said this is going to be his last match. I'm not too sure if this match is going to be his last match, but I don't really project anything going forward for him. And it's going to be very hard for him to find an opponent going forward unless it is Brock Lesnar for the 3rd time. So that being said, Lesnar has had this tear in WWE for 3 years where he has lost maybe 1 match, and it's just been an incredible run where that included beating Undertaker with the streak. So for Goldberg to be the one to beat Brock Lesnar at this point doesn't really make a ton of sense. So I think Brock Lesnar wins this match. I think this match will be better than WrestleMania 20. Almost anything can be better than that. And I think that this match will actually be better than expected. I'm expecting a good match. I'm expecting some outside interference, some drama. And I'm just expecting to have a good, fun time with this one. I think Brock Lesnar wins, but I think Goldberg gives him all that he can handle at the end of the day, and Lesnar finally puts him away. Between 2 warriors, I think Goldberg just goes out with his last match, with his family being able to see him wrestle, and to him at the end of the year at WrestleMania being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So I have Brock Lesnar winning this match, setting up whoever faces him at WrestleMania to have a huge match and maybe even potentially beat him for the first time in a very long time. So I'm going to go with Brock Lesnar in this match. So on my Survivor Series predictions, I have Brock Lesnar, Team Raw, Team Raw for the men's, Team Raw for the women's, Team SmackDown for the tag team, The Miz keeping the title on SmackDown, and Brian Kendrick keeping the title on Raw. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, could you please spike that like button and subscribe for more WWE content on this channel. We also have our Survivor Series review coming on Sunday. Check that out. Leave me your predictions in the comments below. Let me know who's going to win, specifically the big matches here on the card, and what you think could potentially happen with all these wild cards taking place on the show. All right, guys, it's Mitch of The Bottom Line View. Peace out.